From ISIS to the VA, the White House has been hit with an avalanche of scandals and problems, all impacting our nation's heroes directly. Meanwhile, there are 22 million veterans in America, and 57% of them voted in the 2010 midterm election. So will they get out the vote tomorrow and have their voices heard once and for all? Pete Hegseth is the CEO of Concerned Veterans for America, and he's on a mission to get veterans to vote and joins us right now from the battleground state of North Carolina. Captain, do you think the veterans are motivated to vote? And in the past, why haven't they?
Yeah, no, they are. How could they not be motivated? From, as you said, the scandal at the Department of Veterans Affairs. We're gutting our military. ISIS is on the march. We're trading deserters for terrorist killers. Veterans are mad as hell. They're motivated. The question is, will we get them out? Brett Baer talked about the different Senate races. The big differentiator can be get out the vote effort. Are you actually reminding people to go out and take that step? Because as you said, even veterans in a midterm election last time around, only 57% of them voted. And if you add military families on top of that, that's a massive chunk of patriotic, God-fearing Americans that aren't going to the polls. We're trying to change that.
Well, you're trying to help them when they get out, and sometimes voting comes up in that. Pete, what do they say is the reason?
Well, the reason is, I mean, you know, a lot of veterans are frustrated with this political system. Hey, the right, left, they're all crooks. I don't want to have to deal with that. And what we're saying is, and what Concerned Vets for America has said, is you got to continue the fight here at home. It's not enough just to come back and hang up put the combat boots in the closet. You've got to go to work again. So we've got teams of veterans right here in North Carolina knocking on doors, walking house by house to houses of veterans and military families, reminding them of the issues, reminding them to vote. And we're doing this across the country, because if veterans vote in massive numbers, even just 1 or 2% of additional veterans, that can make the difference in a race. And I'd rather have veterans voting than folks who don't know the issues well.
Especially ones that the sacrifice of very little money, need 20 years for a pension, that already believe in the country and are willing to die for it, and more patriotic than most of the population. I want to look at these three categories and give you the president's approval rating on them, and tell me how you think it affects veterans. First off, on terrorism, the president's got a 41% approval rating. On foreign policy, he's got a 36% approval rating. Among about how he's handling ISIS, 35%. Having said that, how does that affect the veterans community?
They see a lack of leadership. Veterans understand what leadership looks like. They're not seeing it. I was at the doorstep yesterday of a full-bird Marine Corps colonel. I was at the doorstep of an Air Force captain and his wife, talking the issues about them, asking if they're going to vote. They said, absolutely, we're going to vote, because we need new and better leadership. We're seeing that across the country, and we're just going to make sure that when it comes to Election Day, they actually follow through and make it to the polls.
Pete, just your opinion. Why is it that if George Bush gets you into wars and Barack Obama gets you out of wars, that it seems George Bush, in almost all the polls among the military, has a higher approval rating?
Because I think he knows, veterans know that even though he's made mistakes, that he's got their back, that he wants to win, that he's got the resolve to double down and make sure that when our backs are against the wall, the commander-in-chief's going to finish through the finish line. With President Obama, they just don't know. They don't know what he believes, and when he sets a deadline, he's out of there no matter what the conditions are. And, you know, it's not just about benefits for veterans, Brian. That's not what we're out here knocking on doors for. It's about our legacy. It's about this nation. It's about, you know, being strong and secure, and that's what President Bush understood. And two of his past Secretary of Defense are very critical of him. That could add to it as well. Captain Pete Hegseth, on the move, on the march in North Carolina. Thanks so much, Pete. You got it, Brian.
All right, 19 minutes.